Hi guys, today's video is going to be an install video on the L&W tie rods for the Honda Talon. These are for the R model only. You can see they're billet tie rods, and they use the factory inner that's already on the rack. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to come in and disconnect the factory tie rods up here, and then also from the knuckle down there, and then we'll get these put on and set back down, and then get the toe and whatnot lined up. So I've got mine up on my lift, but basically what you want to do is you just want to get the front end off the ground, and then make sure that your steering wheel is as straight as you can get it. You can see mine's pretty well straight ahead, and I'll probably pop my front wheels and tires off just to make things a little easier to get to. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll bring you right back in for step two. All right, so for part one, what we're going to do is we're going to come into the tie rod end, and there is going to be a cotter pin and then as well as a nut on there. I'm just going to hit it with a little WD-40 to clean some of that dirt and mud out. And then you can open, or excuse me, I guess close this cotter pin. About like that. Okay, and you get this out, and then the next thing we're going to do is get to that nut right there. Okay, so this nut is a 14 millimeter. I'm going to grab my little impact and open that up. Okay, so you'll have the little flange nut right there. Okay, so here's one of those tips that makes these kind of videos worth watching. You can see I've got a whole bunch of stuff unnecessarily taken off. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that Honda ball joints typically require a ball joint separator. I've tried heating, I've tried hitting this with a hammer, I have tried getting some leverage on there without tearing the boot with a pry bar to get it off. Tried all kinds of stuff to no avail. So I was to the point where I was about to take the carrier off, and then I realized I couldn't get the upper and lower ball joint out of the A-arms either. So lo and behold, I call a family member who works on ATVs quite a bit, primarily Hondas, and he has a ball joint separator. There's like a little $15 tool from Harbor Freight. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to separate the ball joint from there, and I'm going to need both hands to set it up. Give me just a minute, and I'll show you how this thing actually works, and it should pop it right out. All right, so I have the tool prepped into place, and you can see you just put this up here, and then what it's going to do is it's going to put downward force on the knuckle. Then you kind of line this up. I just left the nut kind of at the end so I didn't get into the threads of the stud. And then you're going to use this bolt right here to apply pressure down, which is going to in turn move this and push that up out of the carrier. Now I've got the whole tie rod on there. Basically what you do is you just take the stud and put it down in where the factory one went, and you're going to do a lock nut on the bottom as well as a lock nut on the top. Those are both 19 millimeter lock nuts. And then I've just got an eyeball close as far as the adjustment goes, but everything is still loose. So what I'm gonna do is put the wheels and tires back on after I do the other side. And then I'll do some measurements, and I'm gonna set mine at a 0 toe. So basically it means if you're looking from the caliper or tire, wherever it is you're measuring from, the distance from the back of the caliper to the back of the other caliper is gonna be the same. And then the distance from the front of this caliper to that one will be the same, or whatever reference point you use. Now moving over to the driver's side, you can see I've got the L&W tie rod just on the inner part, and then I've went ahead and taken the stud, just loosely put the lock nut there, and I wanted to show you how everything kind of goes together. So, okay, so for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna do it this way. Take your misalignment bushing and put it into the heim joint like that. Then what you can do is bring the tire heim joint to the stud, like so, and then you'll also take the lock. Okay, I'm going to show you my super scientific way of setting the front end alignment. And there's probably a better way to do this. If you know a better way, feel free to share. This is just a simple way I know how to do it. You can take a couple of boards that are longer than the overall tire diameter, Just strap them to them and then take a level and get the boards nice and level. Then I have a tape measure down there, and I've used a thumbtack to hold it into place so you don't have to have a second set of hands. And I go to the bottom of the board to keep it off of the skid plate. And then what I do is come to the other side, into the bottom of the board, and we can see we are at 75 3/8 right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape measure to the front of the tire, take that measurement, and then the difference between them, I'll divide that in half. So, you know, let's say that the front is, if the back is 75 3/8, let's say the front is 75 5/8. So there's a 1/4 inch difference. That means an 1/8 inch of adjustment needs to happen to bring the front in and the rear out to get them even at 0 toe. So that is a wrap on the L&W Fab tie rod install. As you can see, these things are super sharp looking. They're beefy as all get out. Here's a quick comparison to the stock tie rod right there. So if you're interested in these parts, be sure to go check out their website. I'll put a link in the description. I've got quite a bit of their stuff. I've got the radius rods, the winch plate, and of course the tie rods that I just did. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you like this stuff, please like and subscribe. It helps me out, and I'll keep putting content out. Thanks.